All right, welcome back for another deep dive. This time, it's all about Chapter 3 from the Deep Roots Handbook.
Nutrient management.
You got it.
Look, always a good one.
Yeah, I mean, last time we sort of set the stage, right?
Yeah.
With the basics of soil science.
Yeah.
But now we're kind of getting to the real action.
Yeah, the application.
Yeah. So Chapter 3 kicks off with this section, essential soil nutrients.
Have you ever, actually stopped to think about what it is that makes plants grow?
All the time.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Right.
There are 17 essential nutrients that plants need to complete their life cycle.
Okay, so 17, that seems like a lot.
It is.
Is there a cheat sheet somewhere?
Yeah, so Deep Roots has a great table,
Okay.
Chapter 3.1, that breaks down all 17. The big ones are like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium.
Okay.
Those are the macronutrients.
Macronutrients, so the ones they need, a lot of.
In large quantities, yeah.
Okay.
And then you got your micronutrients.
Yeah. So those are the trace elements, things like boron, zinc, and molybdenum.
Okay, so we've got the main course and then the vitamins and minerals.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like us.
Exactly.
Like people.
But what happens if a plant isn't getting enough of a certain nutrient? How do we know?
So plants give us signals.
Okay.
You might see stunted growth,
Oh, okay.
discolored leaves. For instance, if a plant is lacking nitrogen, the older leaves might start to yellow.
So it's almost like a detective game, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to figure out what's wrong.
Exactly. But instead of dusting for fingerprints, we're looking at the leaves. And of course, soil testing is a great tool.
Soil testing.
Always important.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got the essential nutrients, but what about the where? I mean, are they just chilling at the surface, just waiting for the plants to grab them?
So that's where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
Nutrient distribution really varies a lot depending on the soil depth.
Okay.
So think of it like a layered cake.
Yep.
The top layer might be rich in organic matter, readily available nutrients,
Gotcha.
but deeper down, it's a different story.
So you're telling me I got to know what's going on, way down there.
Absolutely. Factors like organic matter content, water movement, and soil type all play a role in how those nutrients are distributed.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes nutrients accumulate in the subsoil.
Okay.
So they're there,
Right.
but maybe not accessible.
Especially if you have a plant with shallow roots.
Exactly. And then, there's the flip side,
Okay.
leaching.
Right.
This is when nutrients are washed out of the root zone,
Okay.
often in sandy soils. And then that not only affects plant growth, but can also impact groundwater quality.
So we got nutrients potentially getting stuck at the bottom and then leached out from the top.
It's a delicate balance.
Sounds complicated, but I'm sure Deep Roots doesn't leave us hanging.
Absolutely not. Chapter 3.3, creating a nutrient management plan. We know the what, we know the where, now we need to figure out the how.
All right, so this is where we put on our plant nutritionist hats.
You got it.
Okay.
And step 1,
Yeah.
soil testing.
Of course.
Got to get that personalized information.
Okay, I'm getting the message. Soil testing is super important. But then what? We get the results. What do we do with that information?
So that's when the real fun begins. You can analyze those results, see what's missing or what's in excess, and then create a customized plan to address those needs. You can choose the right fertilizers, organic or inorganic, figure out the best application methods, the timing. It's all about delivering those nutrients when and where they're needed.
So it's like creating a roadmap, basically.
Exactly. A roadmap to success.
Roadmap to healthy plants?
Healthy plants, bountiful harvest, the whole shebang.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Can we take a break?
Of course, we've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, let's come back for part 2 and dive back in to the world of nutrient management.
Sounds great. All right, so welcome back. I hope you had a chance to grab a snack, maybe do a little soil test in your own backyard.
Definitely grabbed a snack. Okay, so we're back. We've got our soil test results. We kind of know what we're working with. What's next?
All right, so now that we have that clear picture, right, we can start thinking about what's missing.
Okay.
How are we going to supplement? And this is where fertilizers come into play.
Fertilizers, okay, yeah. I got to be honest, whenever I go to the garden center and I'm looking at that fertilizer aisle,
Overwhelming.
it's so overwhelming. There's just so many choices. I don't know where to start.
So many choices, but Deep Roots really breaks it down.
Okay.
And the first big decision is organic versus inorganic.
Okay, yeah. So organic, that's like compost, manure, all that good stuff, right?
Exactly, yeah. derived from natural sources,
Mm.
and those release nutrients more slowly.
Okay.
So it's more of a slow and steady approach.
Okay, so then what about inorganic?
So inorganic is synthetic. They provide a quicker boost, right? But they don't offer those same long-term soil building benefits.
So it's like fast food versus like a home cooked meal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that analogy.
That's sad.
You know, a quick energy bar versus like a hearty stew.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So both have their place. But let's say, okay, we've made our decision. We've picked our fertilizer type.
Okay.
How much do we use? Like, I'm always so scared of like overdoing it.
Yeah. Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
Right.
But the key is to follow the recommended application rates
Okay.
on the packaging
Okay.
and consider those soil test results.
Right. Right. Of course, because that's going to tell us what we need.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got our soil test. We've picked our fertilizer type. We figured out how much. What else?
So timing is another important thing.
Okay.
You know, making sure those nutrients are available when they're needed.
So, like, are you saying like there's a certain time of year when plants are hungrier for certain nutrients?
Exactly.
Okay.
So think about it. When are plants putting on most of their leafy growth?
Spring.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's when they need a good dose of nitrogen.
Okay.
And then when are they focused on flower and fruit production?
Summer.
Exactly. So that's when phosphorus and potassium become even more important.
Wow, it's like they have their own little seasonal menus.
They really do. It's amazing.
This is making me realize I've just been kind of throwing fertilizer around.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Okay, good. So soil test, fertilizer type,
Yeah.
the right amount, the timing, anything else.
There is one more crucial factor,
Okay.
soil pH.
Soil pH. Okay, yeah. That's the acidity and alkalinity, right?
Exactly. The pH scale measures that. And it plays a huge role in nutrient availability.
Wait, so you're saying like the pH level of my soil can actually affect how well my plants are getting the nutrients that are already there?
Exactly. Most nutrients are readily available within a specific pH range.
Okay.
And if it's too high or too low, those nutrients get locked up even if they're present in abundance.
So it's like having a pantry full of food,
Yes,
but you can't open the door?
exactly. It's a great analogy.
Okay.
So different plants have different preferences,
Right.
but generally, most vegetables, flowering plants, they thrive in a slightly acidic to neutral range,
Okay.
around 6 to 7 on that pH scale.
And how do we test for that? Like, is that part of the soil test?
So most soil tests will include that pH reading.
Yep.
And if your pH is out of whack, there are ways to adjust it. So for instance, if it's too acidic, you add lime,
Okay.
which raises the pH. And if it's too alkaline, you can add sulfur,
Gotcha.
and that'll lower it.
So it's like we're fine-tuning our soil.
Exactly, creating that optimal environment.
Wow, this is a lot more than I thought it was going to be. It's not just about like, here's some fertilizer, go grow.
It's a science.
It really is a science.
There's an art to it, too.
So we've got the soil test and the fertilizer choices, the pH adjustments.
Yeah.
Before we move on, anything else we need to keep in mind?
So much to think about.
I know, right? But it's pretty cool, though. It is. It's fascinating. Like, I'm actually kind of excited to go out and like look at my garden with fresh eyes. Okay, so we've talked about soil testing, choosing the right fertilizers, adjusting the pH. What else should we keep in mind?
Well, one of the things Deep Roots emphasizes is that it's not a one-time thing.
Oh,
Nutrient management.
Right.
It's an ongoing process. You know, you got to observe, adapt, fine-tune.
so like, how do we know if our plan is working? What are we looking for?
Yeah, healthy, vibrant growth is a good indicator.
Okay.
But, you know, if you start to see signs of nutrient deficiency,
Right. Like those yellow leaves.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. So that's a signal that maybe you need to reevaluate,
Okay.
tweak things a little bit.
Tweak things, yeah. Okay, so let's say we've done everything right. We've done the soil testing, we picked the right fertilizer, we've adjusted the pH, but like something's still not right.
Yeah.
What then?
Well, you know, sometimes even with best intentions, there can be other factors at play.
Okay.
Nutrient management's not the only thing.
Right, of course. You got watering, sunlight, you know, all the other good stuff.
Exactly. And sometimes those things can actually influence nutrient availability. For example, like overwatering.
Okay.
That can lead to leaching,
Even if you got the right fertilizer.
even if you got the perfect amount, yeah.
Ah,
Or compacted soil, you know, that can make it hard for those roots to access nutrients,
Okay.
even if they're there.
So it's like it's all connected.
Everything's connected.
We got to think about the whole garden, the whole ecosystem.
The whole picture. Absolutely.
This has been awesome.
I'm glad.
I feel like I've learned so much.
Yeah, and the cool thing is the learning never stops, right?
Right.
Every garden's different.
Yeah.
Every soil type, every plant.
So just keep experimenting.
Exactly. Stay curious. Never stop learning
Yeah.
about this amazing world beneath our feet.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this deep dive into nutrient management. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, happy gardening.
Happy gardening.